But it hit the wrong one.
Oh my god, I'm so sad we don't screen capture.
I was recording the whole time. I can see it.
Me too. I'm recording us, so this was probably going to be the opening. Unfortunately, we can't show. You know what? I'm going to try to recreate and put what happened. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of V-Time, episode 238. Is it 230? Man, I checked a little while ago, and I already forgot. 237. 7?
It's probably going to be 238 as well.
237. It is 237. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
A lot of stuff happened in between. Then I hoped that they would do it in Dula, but then audio crashed.
No, it didn't crash. Crashing. The Roadcaster crashed. So I tried to use something else and it didn't work. And it just became a hot mess. So look, the attempt 3.0.
Attempt 3.0. I don't know what the length of the episode is on both Spotify and YouTube. You guys can kind of look. So if it's a long length, strap
you know why?
Crap. Yeah.
Hey, yes, package for Mr. Top Deck Heroes.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks. Mr. Top Deck Heroes? Mr. Top Deck Heroes, your package. Man, another one? What is with this guy? Mr. Top Deck Heroes.
Again. Oh, Meldy again.
Mr. Top Deck Heroes, your package. Oh, God, thank you, that was heavy. What's in that one?
Oh, trading cards.
Cards. Was every one of them cards?
Yeah.
How can you afford that?
Oh, that's interesting you say that. I got it from this baseball pit.
Secret.
Man, these people are crazy.
It's no secret. 50 cards. Use code TDHeroes for a discount.
Anywho, without any dilly-dallying, I say we just go right in.
Yeah.
All right, starting us off. Yeah, this far back. We have finally Solairon support, Griffogilla support, mass stuff for Keter, as well as Dragon Empire down the road. But right now we need to look at Keter stuff. Starting us off with a Dragon Tree Branch Digui. Digui? Digui. And this is the first... This is the first actual card that has Dragon Tree in its card name and doesn't look like a purple, thorny, viney mess. Anyway, speaking of effects, auto, when this unit is placed on rear guard, other than during the bellow phase, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Solairon or Griffogilla in its card name, Soul Blast 1, look at top 7 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 card with Solairon in its card name, or up to 1 Mask of the Hydreigon from among them, discard it, shuffle the deck, look at the top card of your deck, and put it on top or bottom of the deck. So honestly, a very versatile effect. We'll see it used in Solairon more than Griffogilla, but I like the fact that it can discard the mask or Solairon and then check the top and put it on top or bottom. It's like, it does a lot.
Yeah. It's also interesting that this is Dragon Tree in its name, because I think that means the Master of the Hydreigon can actually search it.
It actually can. Wait, no.
So.
No, wait. I thought Dragon... No, yeah. Master of the Hydreigon can search cards with Dragon Tree or Griffogilla in their card names.
Yeah, and because it's a Dragon Tree branch, it's technically searchable. Which is cool, because it means we're getting actual units that are branches of Dragon Tree. So I wonder if this means we're going to get other ones for other nations as well.
So this will probably never come up. But technically, if you have this on your Vanguard, the markers work.
All right, boys, we're cooking now.
Like I said, they probably never come up, but the markers do say during your turn if you have a Vanguard with Dragon Tree or Mask in its card name. This has Dragon Tree in its card name.
Dude, could you imagine you play this and you play the Keter grade 1 Dragon Tree Wretch and you use a skill, make a marker, and you just go aggro like hell?
I mean, you can also use the Blitz order and just make them.
That too. Then you try to grade 2 and you're sad because then they're all shut off until you get to grade 3.
I mean, technically the Dragon Tree Wretches are grade 2s.
Yeah. Well, somebody out there will cook.
I love how we never thought about that. Speaking of Dragon Tree Wretches, we got some new ones, ain't that right?
Yes, you got a new Dragon Tree Wretch, Dragon Tree Wretch Pegasus Disash. It's a grade 2.
Daishash?
Sure, it's something. Anyways, it's grade 2 double rare. Auto, when this unit is placed on rear guard, cost Energy Blast 3, insert your deck for up to 1 Mask of the Hydrogram and put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. And then act, rear guard cost, Counterblast 1, bind this unit. Choose a rear guard without any Dragon Tree markers on it and make a marker, and then look at the top 7 cards of your deck for up to 1 Mask of the Mask or Griffakira, and from among them, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. When you look for the when you would look at the deck by this ability, if your bind zone has 1 or less cards of the same name as this card, you can look at all of your deck instead. Bro, this is like one of the greatest Griffakira support cards I've ever seen in a long time.
Yep. I like it. Not only Griffakira, this is honestly a good support card for Soleiron, and if we get a copy of this for every single mask deck, this is a good card for any mask deck.
Maggie never has to whiff. It's gonna be so good if we ever get this.
I know, right? Yeah. Just, oh look, Counterblast 1 bind, make a marker, and then just search your deck for a mask.
I love how like these are supposed to be for Soleiron, but I'm like over here looking like, God, this is really good Griffakira support. Like I'm sitting here like another Wretch. It's literally grabs a grade 11 or any of the grade 10s if you need to ditch them for the set order. Or the only downside to the mask part is in Griffakira, you do not get the generator until you get to Griffakira.
Yes.
So you can't use the Energy Blast skill until technically turn 4.
If you're going second, turn 3. If you're going first, turn 4, yes.
Yeah. So,
but it's fine.
Keep that in mind.
Look, I can still bind, search for the grade 11, put it to my hand, and have my whole plan ready to go.
Exactly. The other half of the ability is still worth it. 100%.
I do like how they worded it, because we did this mistake when we recorded and then realized it and fixed it properly. It says if your bind zone has 1 or less cards. So it immediately makes you think, oh, okay, first time I use it and second time I use it, I can just search my deck. But because the cost is Counterblast 1, bind this, by the time you use the second one, your bind zone is going to have 2 cards. So you can't immediately, it's a one-time search.
Unless you're playing Stoicheia, and then you can do it infinitely.
Well, yeah, but then you got to play the cards that get removed bind zone.
Yeah, but this is easy. You play Bell, you use Bell's effect, you send your bind zone back to your drop, and look what's happened. There's no bind zone anymore. Let's just do this again.
This is probably never gonna happen, but in some magical Christmas land, if it for some reason does, if we ever get a masked unit that also has the word Faded One in its name, this starts getting a little bit out of hand.
How so?
Liel Amorta, choose 2 cards from bind zone. Perfect card for Faded Ones.
Yeah.
Dude, can you imagine if they actually do make a Liel Amorta mask?
No, you do is you run Solarion, go into mask, do your thing, then you low-key just hard ride a Raziel from your hand, and later in the game, Divine Skill, get it in front.
Jesus. Anyway, as much as good this card is, I can't wait to see if, for one, we know Gandiva's getting a mask, which more likely means we're getting a Dragon Empire version of this. But what I'm hoping is, are we getting a version of that for every other nation? Only time will tell. But until then, we actually got to see why they made this card. And it's for ya boy, Great Sage of Shol Soleiron Mask. He went from yes sir to Your Daughter Calls Me Daddy. I had to do that. Hector would be disappointed if I didn't. The only downside is that while he got a very big upgrade in looks, his effect could have been better.
They dropped the mic on this one.
This card can only be written from a grade 3 card with Solera on its card name, like any other mask. Then we get Act Vanguard once per turn, cost Energy Blast 3, reveal a normal unit from hand, draw a card, and put the card revealed for this cost on the top of your deck. Jesus Christ, I can't read today. So basically, you reveal a normal unit, draw a card, and put that normal unit on the top of your deck. Then it has the ability Act Vanguard. Once per turn cost, remove a Solaron and its different card name from this unit from hand, soul, or drop. You declare either normal unit or trigger unit and reveal the top card of your deck. If you reveal the card type you declared, this unit gets a red text, auto Vanguard once per turn. When a unit placed by this unit's ability attacks this turn, until the end of battle, increase or decrease that unit's drive to 1 and perform drive checks until the end of turn. And then the last ability, Auto Vanguard. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, cannibal one, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Choose up to the same number of cards as the number of Dragon Tree markers from among them. Call them to your rear guard and put the rest on top or bottom of the deck in any order.
I think this would have been so much better if they didn't have the return clause on the red text. I think it could have been fun.
To be fair, that would mean you would have 4 drive checks in a turn. Right now, you only have 3.
Yeah, but looking at how the meta looks, everything is like 4 drive checks if they're getting extra drive checks.
Yeah, they're not wrong. I mean, the whole top 3 is nice. It's more top checks, which means if you see triggers on the cards you put on top, you can call and leave triggers. The extra drive is nice, I guess. Drawing a card, putting a card on top for Energy Blast 3 is basically costless. Like, on paper, everything looks great. But then you start to remember some of the Solaron support that exists. The old game it's gonna have, because look at it this way. Your Dragon Tree markers are giving 5k to the rear guards. But more than likely, you only have 2 of them max. Like, if you're going all the way to 3, the game's been going for a while.
And you've lost the power that Solaron used to give.
Exactly. You don't have 5k to everything on board because you revealed. Which means you're now reliant on the Dragon Tree markers as well as hopefully Persona Ride. The Solaron support never gained that much power to begin with.
But then you're also having to spend your resources and counterblast to make markers to make the deck function. And the deck needs counterblast to call off the top. On top of, I'm pretty sure some of the rear guards itself also required counterblast. So like it become very counterblast hungry and very piece reliant. It took a lot of setup to do just a single drive check on a rear guard, feels like. Which is like it. Like if the once per turn wasn't there, I could understand it because I'm like, oh cool, he's just gonna be calling rear guards and drive checking with them. It's gonna feel like Keter Michu. Well,
yeah,
do a lot. But that's not what this is.
No. Only extra thing I would like to say about this card for my brain farts is what should have happened was find a way to have OG Solaron's 5k to the board effect still activate and then go into mask. Because you notice that most mask decks that are good usually are also the decks that have the original Vanguard being able to do a act or some sort of ability and then go into mask. Like Pico's, I guess, is an exception because the original Unica does nothing. Pico just does everything.
Magnolia was an on attack, so it did nothing.
Yeah. But everything else is like, well, Leonore. Oh, look, I can Cannibalize, draw call, and then go into mask.
Yeah.
Or fist. So, do I need to say more about Orfist? He's
Droll
very
just
self-explanatory.
The Droll just like soul charged and drew cards before he did anything.
Yeah, but it was still let me soul charge and potentially draw. It's still in the fact that just, I don't know. It could have been much better. It could have been much better. Anyway, move on. Promo time.
Oh yeah, we got some really good promos actually. With a grade 1 financier, Tara
Sabaki.
Tara Sabaki. It's grade 1, act rearguard, cost to put this unit into your soul, choose 2 choose 2 order cards with the same name from your drop and put them to put one from among them to the bottom and one to your hand. If you choose one of your units and it gains 5k until the end of your turn. And then auto, when you play an order card during your turn, if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, it gains 5k till the end of your turn.
So, Mr. Tokea, what deck can actually use this and benefit from it?
So this was, I'm pretty sure this was intended for Story Hacha, the Buddha Bug, because you can play multiple codexes in a turn. You can recycle your codexes, and it goes into soul to pay for your costs. But the fun part about this card is it is generic. So you could technically splash this into any deck, and it grabs any order. So technically you can just, if you have 2 of the same blitz orders, so like you're playing Lascaria, you can technically squeeze this in there.
You can put this in Claudine.
You can put it in Claudine. You can put it in Zorga if you're running multiple of the same order in the deck.
I know you probably don't want to do this because the deck wants to have as many orders and drop as possible. You can technically in Japan they can put this in Bebebe.
Yes, you can. But you're probably not going to benefit much from the second skill outside of Buddha Bug, because it's the only one that in my top of my head can play multiple orders in one turn. It doesn't, but it's the one that you can benefit the most of it from, because at least it's not once per turn, so you can get at least 10k off of it in Stoyaja.
Yeah, Buddha Bug is the only one that can play 2, because Zorga technically still only plays 1, just plays 2 effects.
Yeah.
Imagine if they put this in Trick or Treat.
Oh, I know, right? It'd be really good. Just get a Sharpie, a colored Sharpie, and just color it pink in the nation box instead of green.
Oh, we got to move on to more goodies. So set 6 is leaking, and we've seen a lot of stuff already, so got to cover all of it. And we got to see what Dimensional Robo's got, because it's a little bit too soon for Dimensional Robo Die Kaiser. We are getting instead Super Dimensional Robo Die Wing. For some reason, I always thought Die Wing existed. I guess this is a new card.
Yeah, I don't remember Die Wing.
With a name with Die Wing, you'd think it existed, but I guess not. Oh,
But
I know why I'm
now.
confusing you. I'm thinking about Gundam Wing, and probably my brain's not going.
You're right, Philip. It has existed. It existed now.
There we go. Anyway, it's a grade 3 double rare for Dimensional Robo that says auto-win this unit is placed on rearguard from hand. If you have a Vanguard Dimensional Robo in its card name, Energy Blast 3, choose up to 1 card with Dimensional Robo in its different card name from this unit from your soul and call it to rearguard. At the end of that turn, put the called unit into soul. And in continuous rearguard Guardian Circle, if your Orzone has a base, this unit gets power 5k, shield 5k, making it 18k base, or a 5k shield. If your Orzone has 3 or more base hit, it also gets 5k and 5k shield again, making a 23k base attacker and a 10k shield in hand with 3 bases.
So this is great for standard, for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
I can hear the premium players screaming, why is it having energy blast cost?
So first effect is premium dead. Second effect is technically premium dead as well, unless premium players want to start playing bases.
Yeah. Which most of the time they're going to play die base, and it only works with energy, so it's also dead.
Yep. So, really cool card for standard though, because it's weird resource, because you can use 2 energy to call something from soul using the base, or you can use 3 energy using this to call something out. But the base only benefits you 1, while you use calling this from hand benefits you 2, but that's 1 or less in hand, but the thing you call goes back into soul. It's weird. I find the cost balance starting to be weird with this card.
So I think the putting it back into soul is actually a benefit for certain cards, because didn't certain D-Robo cards only proc when they're pulled from soul?
Yes. Which means you can basically keep recycling them. You can keep recycling the one that says no intercept. You can probably keep recycling the one that gives your Vanguard a crit. So it's one of those things like, once it called out, I don't have to find a way to put it back in. I can just put it back in and just call it back out with this effect, yada, yada, yada.
Exactly.
I don't know. I'll let Long cook this up and see what he can come up with that. But maybe he even throws this card in.
Oh, definitely throwing this card in. You got a new cycle of triple rares for encounters as generic support, starting with Glory Maker. It is a Brent Gate, dimensional police card, grade 1, and all of them are going to have the same clause at the beginning, but all of them will have different effects afterwards. Continuous, if your Vanguard is only 1 clan and your G zone has no cards, this unit gets all of the following. That's the part they're all going to share. The effects are auto and drop. When your grade 3 or greater Vanguard is placed and you do not have a card with the same card name as this card, you may call it to a back row rear guard. And then auto rear guard when this unit boosts, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard. To the end of the battle, you may get your opponents cannot play blitz orders, or when your opponent would call cards from their hand to Guardian Circle, they must call 2 or more at the same time. If you do, at the end of that battle, retire this unit.
Thoughts?
Oh, this is scary.
No joke, this is actually super scary. It's basically a free booster for any column you want to make dangerous. And that's about it. It's just a free booster for any column you want to make dangerous.
And like most of the time, it's going to be on Dayusha's Persona turn, where you have the crit and the restand, and you're going to be like, all right, cool. I know you have Elementaria? No. Oh, you got a perfect guard?
Yeah,
cool. You're gonna...
So that's the thing here. I just realized something that probably was very obvious to some other people, but I just realized it, which makes me a little bit sad. Let me talk. First gripe about this card. The effect's amazing, don't get me wrong. Free call, guard restrict. Oh, you have Elementaria, you can't use it. Oh, you don't have Elementaria? Well, you gotta have to use more cards to guard. That's beside the point. We're gonna see for every nation one of these generic encounter cards. The only difference is, for some fucking reason, every single other nation got an encounter card generic that's from a different clan than the encounters we have, and yet Glory Maker is a DP card. Why didn't we get a Nova Grappler? That's my only thing. Why didn't we get a Nova Grappler?
Well, that's the thing. See, we might be getting more encounters. We might be getting Nova Grappler, and that's the thing is, any encounter they print from now on has access to a fucking card restrict.
Which is that's the other thing, and then I'll add the third point to that, is at this current moment, the only deck in the whole game of Standard that can use this card and actually have an effect on it is Dimensional Police Dayusha.
Technically, you can run this with Messiah in only one point and one way to play the game. And that is if you only run a single card in your G zone, and the moment you stride it is the only time it'll work.
Or whenever you use all your strides, but in Messiah, that's never going to happen.
No. You have to have no cards in your G zone. So even if you stride to go back face up in your G zone, now you have to literally put a single card in your G zone, a single stride. And when you stride it, that is the only instance of that game that this will be live if you're playing it in a stride.
Here's
deck.
my vanilla stride that has guard restrict.
Don't ever do that. Or just be Echo. You have to
just
play
be
a G-Zone.
Jesus Christ.
The man was already cooking before he even knew it was it.
Which brings me to my second realization why they potentially made these cards, as well as from different clans that are the clans that we have encounters of right now. Because you can't really use these in premium because most, if not all premium decks, 99% of them have G zones. So I'm like, okay, so this is implication that in the future we're getting more encounter decks. There will go Nova Grappler, more Deep Elites, whatever, where this card can get used more in. And then it hit me. No, never mind. It unhit me. I'm an idiot.
It hit you and it took it back.
Yeah, because I was gonna say a stupid thing of saying, oh, this is V Premium support, and then I remembered, oh yeah,
No.
V Premium is only V Premium exclusive. Never mind.
Yeah. I have my theories about like why this is here and everything, but I'll save that because this is gonna be a long episode and it's gonna make it way longer if I start ranting about it.
Well, we're gonna start off with the next one of these generic encounter non-stride deck support cards. And this is, why I was like, why wasn't it a Nova Grappler? Because we have Doreen the Thruster back. She's a Dark Irregular grade 1 that got retrained. We don't have a Dark Irregular encounter deck at this current moment. And the
wink, wink, Bushy Road.
Yeah, and the only Dark States encounter deck that can use this right now, I'm a little bit stalling for time because I'm trying to remember myself, is
Silverthorn.
Silverthorn, yeah. Silverthorn is the only one that can use this card at this current moment. And what does it do? Same first effect. If your Vanguard has only one clan and your G-Zone has no cards, this card gets all the following. When this unit is placed on rearguard, Soul Charge 1, choose up to one card from drop and put it into Soul, so basically on play Soul Charge 2. And then auto rearguard, when your card is put into Soul by your card's ability, if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, this unit gets power 3k until the end of turn. So basically for every card put into Soul, it gains power, which means in Silverthorn it'll gain 6k at max, because Silverthorn Vanguard can only suck up 2.
It'll get more. Because you gain its own effect will also suck up cards. And it says when a card is placed into your Soul by your card's ability, which means if you're using the grade 2, I think, the Tamed Dragon, you can put a card from hand in the Soul, draw a card. You can proc it off of that as well.
Hold up, I'm mathing right now. On play, Soul Charge 3k, that counts. Soul Charging does count.
Yes.
Because it does say in the Random 6 plus 6 if you Soul Charge 2 at once. Put a card into Soul from drop. So on play, she's already at 14k on her own, just because of her own ability. Call Dragon from Soul. Look here. Card into Soul 3 out. One card went into Soul by an ability. Another 3k, so we're at 9. Dragon on place. Put a card from Soul or hand to Soul. Draw a card. We're at 12. More than likely call grade 3 Dragon out. Put a card from drop into Soul, 15. More than likely call the grade 1 out that puts the grade 3 into Soul and puts a grade 2 Dragon out of Soul. So that's another card into Soul by an effect, so that's at 18. More than likely that Dragon effect, put a card from hand into Soul, draw a card, that's at 21. Attack with Vanguard, put 2 cards into Soul, that's another 6k, it's 27. This is a 35k booster.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
wait.
the order.
Silverthorn multi-attack, an order puts a card into Soul and calls something out. That's another one. So this is a 38k booster.
And then if you call another dragon out, you go to Dragon Prox again, puts another card in the Soul.
41k booster. 41k booster on a dragon that's probably sitting at 30k or 35 because you probably have a Lukiran Soul. This is over 70 column because this thing exists.
Yeah.
God damn, I want to test this out now. Holy shit, I want to test this out now.
Philip, whenever it gets to that point, I just want you to put like the overlay of like the equations going past you. You're like, you know the math.
It does make attack patterns a little bit weird because now you have to go. Now you have to go. Honestly, with her in the deck, putting her behind the Vanguard, behind whatever you're going to boost on the right column or whatever, you have to go for an attack pattern which benefits the purple OT. So you're going rearguard, rearguard, Vanguard, rearguard to get the most out of it because you usually don't want to suck up. I'll figure it out when I playtest.
I'll let you cook.
I just love the fact that while while we were counting all that, I just realized there's like 10 instances of put a card into Soul and fucking Silverthorn in one turn. Holy shit.
Like, and honestly, like, depending on encounters, because Dark Irregulars does it a lot too, and other decks you're gonna get, like, all of Dark States in general just juggles around the Soul, so this is gonna be really good. Anyway,
moving on. We got one more of these type of effects.
We got Battle Sister Coco. It's a grade 1. Same spiel if your clan is only, the G zone, yada yada. Auto, when this unit is placed on rear guard, cost, put a card from your hand into your soul. Look at the top 2 cards of your deck, choose one card from among them, put it into your hand, and put the rest onto the top of your deck or into soul. If you put a card into soul by this effect, it gains power +5. And then continuous rear guard and guardian circle. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, and your opponent's drive check or damage check revealed a trigger this turn, this unit gains power +10, shield +10.
So it's the grade 3s, but on a grade 1.
Yeah. Honestly, it's not bad. Considering the decks that you're probably putting this in, it can either go into Ezel, MLB, PB, or Phantom Blaster Overlord, or Minerva. Minerva wants cards put into Soul because you want to put what's her name, the grade 2 from the red line.
You want to put in man, I literally just watched the Minerva play in Austria. You want to put either Chamomile into Soul or the other grade 1. Oh god, Melissa.
Yeah. If you're playing MLB, shoving blasters into Soul is pretty good.
Exactly. Oh my god, this basically replaces Drilling Angel.
Yeah.
Not drilling, but maybe more. Maybe. Oh god, I'm forgetting all the fucking names. The main.
Yeah. And yeah, I was gonna say this replaces the main and Phantom Blaster Overlord. Although you're probably still playing the main in that deck as well, but this is also another way to do it. And then Ezel, I can't remember. They want to put cards in Soul.
It does have a Soul Blast cost for me because of that. Maybe.
So I guess it could help. I can see where this is the one where we can see the most use out of because there's the most encounter decks already established, so you can see how far that card can go. But you can see how these cards will just over time work that well across all the decks.
It's basically a dog because it goes plop. You minus a card in hand, but you look at top 2 and you replace that card in hand. So you basically filter out and make a better hand while bumping Soul. And then if there's a trigger on top, you put a trigger on top. Or if there's not a trigger on top, you put another fucking thing into Soul. And now this thing is 13k and you've Soul charged 2.
Yeah. Which, thinking about now even versatile. More in Minerva, that actually might be really good.
Exactly. This card is versatile. I like it. I like it a lot. And it's very simple to suck.
Yeah.
Anywho, moving on. We got a little bit of a news section in between because Dear Days 2 was announced, and like last time, Japan's gonna get some promos with Dear Days 2 when they buy it. Unfortunately, here in English, more likely that's not gonna happen. Or at least we can admire the stuff they're getting because eventually we got those promos from Dear Day 1, which means eventually we got these promos from Dear Days 2. And the only thing these promos are Regulus pieces retrained with DivineZ anime arts.
Please tell me you've seen the memes that are floating around with these.
You mean the 5k blessing?
No, the one where somebody photoshopped a grenade in her hand, handing a grenade.
Oh, you're missing the other meme.
And then the other one where it's literally like people making the joke of how DivineZ is all a Fate reference, and so him having the Grail, they just Photoshop what's his name from Fate.
Dude, there is a meme with his sister going around and just 5k.
I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that because of the Luard order. Somebody did that.
Well, I know you might be hoping to get this.
Oh yes, and then we also got a version of the Vergilla Vanguard, but it has all of the units from the manga and the artwork. Or if you've just recently gotten the new trial deck, all of the new cards are in one art, except for the grade 2.
So we recently covered the promos that actually did support. Did you see the promo that supports Vergilla?
Yes, I did see the card.
Thoughts?
Mixed emotions.
Well, you don't want your thing to have resist and also be like a big beefy, not only attacker and shield.
I like it. Don't get me wrong. It's just deck space.
Okay, valid. Anyway, moving on. Speaking of deck space, something that we announced that the fact that we're getting upgraded versions of both Favonian and Graham Grace. Huzzah!
Yay.
We're did not expect these type of effects a little bit. I was only expecting for more, but I'll take what we can get. And we're gonna start off with two of the longest names in Vanguard cards: Purgatory, Great Dragon Emperor, Favonial Reingold. At least it's not a dragon.
That's gonna be fun to see you fit that on a text box.
Already did. Fuck me. Anyway, the gimmick of old Favonial was that you can only run one copy of him in deck. And this Reingold kind of helps that idea because he has a couple abilities that start off with Continuous Vanguard. During your turn, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, and your soul has the original Purgatory Dragon Deity Favonial, all of your front row units get power 10k, and this unit gets critical +1. And then it continues. Auto Vanguard at the beginning of your main phase, choose a card from your drop and put it into soul. Choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. So basically every main phase you guarantee a soul charge from drop and a retire. Huzzah! And then Auto Vanguard once per turn. At the end of the battle, this unit attacked if the sum of grades of Dark States cards in your is 13 or more or greater in your soul. Counterblast 2, or put a card with Favonial in its card name from hand into soul. Stay in this unit and it gets drive -1 until the end turn. The same Favonial ability with an alternate cost. And last but not least, Auto Soul. At the end of your turn, if your Vanguard is Purgatory Dragon Deity Favonial, ride this card as rest.
So you basically get to if you soul charge this in the early game, like as soon you just get to ride it.
Turn 3, either you randomly soul charge it, or your opponent was stupid enough to leave a rear guard on their board, so you retire a rear guard, you put a card from hand, this card, into soul, draw a card, and then end turn happens, you ride this. Therefore, next turn, you're already on this, so if you want to proc any of your did not ride abilities, you still can, as well as have this on your Vanguard already.
And if you really wanted to, and you don't care about if you did not ride skills, you can't persona ride this one because you can run multiple copies. So you get the +10 from its own, and then persona ride on +10 as well.
Exactly. There's a mixed bag on that aspect because we do have one grade 3 card that basically activated for persona ride for us, and it was really good because if you play certain cards, it discards a card to activate persona ride. Which means, because this is during the ride phase still, you could discard the original cycle, Soul Blast 1, and still draw a card when discarding, and then activate Persona Ride and drawing another card. So it was a fun gimmick there.
Question, the promo grade 3 that countercharged for Favonial.
Yes.
What was the condition for the cost?
13 cards in Soul that are Dark States.
No, I mean like the whole cost for like the activate its ability.
At the end of the battle that attacked, if your soul has 13 or more cards, I think it will.
Did it put a unit into soul?
Hold up, I literally just bought it and you shipped it. Oh, where the fuck did I put it?
I think I might have cooked with this card. Because if I remember right, I think it put another rear guard into soul for the cost. And if it did, then boy is Forbidal going to be hilarious with this card.
Well, I mean, Forbidal was always going to be in this deck because you weren't so many fucking grade 3s.
Yeah, but you can just
there it
forfeit
is.
all this and that card if it's the cost I remember.
When this unit attacks a Vanguard, if you have Vanguard Fire in this card name, put one other rearguard into soul, choose one of your opponent's triggers, retire it, and if the sum upgrades dark states in your soul is 13 or greater, countercharge 1.
So basically you forfeit all this and that, and then you suck it into soul for the cost of that, and then you have it in the soul to ride.
Alex, you're not wrong, but don't the card that activates Persona Ride for Favrenlu already did the same effect. On attack, choose something else, put it into soul. No, it put itself into soul. There's enough ways to put shit into soul. That's my point.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying that's a fun combo. I just realized.
But I think you still want to activate the card and not actually Persona Ride, because this way you can keep your Persona Ride in hand for the cost to discard if you don't have 2 CBs. It really depends on the situation. But if you put 2 of this into soul and ride 1 on top, there's a fun card I'm potentially thinking about putting into this deck that's basically going to make his restand cost 1 CB technically.
Oh.
Miroslava. She's a
Okay.
grade 3, so yay. On place, counterblast 1, choose a card from your soul. If it's call it to rearguard, but if it's the same name as your Vanguard, put it into hand and she gains 5k power.
Hey, that's pretty good.
So you can add another one of this, another one of the Wrangles into hand through her ability. Have an 18k attacker, well, with Persona Ride or its own ability, probably like 28, 38. But my point is, counterblast 1, add it to hand, and now I have a discard fodder for his restand.
I like that.
Or if you have already this card fodder in hand, she can just make a board from your soul.
True. Well,
There's
you get to
cooking.
cook because that's your baby.
Exactly. You get to technically cook, but Hector's going to be cooking as well.
Yes. You got a new Graham Grace to go along with this. Sword Saint Knight Dragon Emperor Graham Grace Seed. Boy, these names. His skill is continuous Vanguard. If your persona rate also increases the power of your back row units as well. Act Vanguard once per turn, cost Soul Blast 1. Choose one of your back row center rear guards. It gets continuous. This unit can attack from the back row and gains power plus 10,000 until the end of turn. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, you can cost Energy Blast 3, and that unit and this unit gain critical plus 1 until the end of turn. And then Auto Vanguard, at the end of the battle that your back row rearguard attacked, you put it into your soul. If you put a card into your soul, draw a card at the end of turn.
It's very similar to the old one, but with a lot of minute changes.
Some of them good and some of them bad. The good, now you get crit pressure. It don't have the counter blast anymore. You just need a soul blast, which is honestly good. Since you can use your counter blast for other things.
It doesn't draw a card, call a card anymore.
It doesn't draw a card and call a card, so you have to have something existing. So if you just top decking, it kind of sucks. And then you don't get your draw until the end of turn, so you don't immediately draw in case that matters.
Which, in a sense, could be good because that means there's more potential triggers in deck. You don't draw a trigger and then do drive checks, which means now you can do your drive checks and then draw whatever is left.
Change, you can stack your deck, and then you can get more. You're going to be drive checking easier instead of having to kind of play around your own draw effects.
Man, I want an Energy Blast in Favrenil. Why you get the Energy Blast, but I don't?
Also, the fact that both the units attacking from the back row and the Vanguard are both going to be double crit as well. It's going to be nice.
Yeah, that's annoying. That's the annoying part. Not only do you have two things that are more than likely going to be around the 23 and the 33, maybe more mark.
Yes.
Because we already know exactly what the card's going behind the Vanguard.
And you have the grade 2s that also give, if you're attacking with grade 3s in the center column, give them 5Ks.
Yep. But then you got columns that are just gaining 20Ks because, you Persona Road.
Yeah. And then you're also going to remember you're probably attacking with the grade 3 that gives the Vanguard drive checks. So your Vanguard's going to be triple drive as well, probably.
And 10K more.
and 10k more. So it's going to be hitting really big numbers and really hard.
The only problem about this deck is the fact that it's still technically turn 4. So you got a 23 rear guard, maybe a little bit more double critical, as well as a 23, maybe a little bit more triple drive Vanguard double critical. But that's still, 23. That's an impressive number, but nothing too special.
But the spice about this is, it's Keter, so you got Keter pile. So you can probably just play Keter pile up until
you got Keter pile. Now you got more CB to use.
Exactly.
Well, those are two big boys. Now we got to look at some smaller cards. Because this is a encounter set, more encounter cards have been supported. Like, for example, the Armed Arms deck, Wolfold Genius, is a grade 1 double rare that supports Silhouette. And its abilities are auto when this unit is placed on rearguard. Soul Blast 2, choose a card with Armed Arms and its card name from your drop and put it into hand. If you put a card into hand, it gets fire 5k until the end of turn. And an act rearguard, retire this unit, choose a Machine Factory from your drop and put it into your order zone. I have mixed feelings about this card.
Is the second ability really that useful?
So the second ability, you can very convolutedly think of it as a +2 to board. Because basically what this is incentivizing is place Soul Blast 2 +1 back to hand. And it's an Armed Arm, so it could be a very important card that you're plussing back to hand. Then it gains... The fact that it gains 5k makes the whole retire skill very pointless, in my opinion. But the idea I think here is that you place this, you activate the ability, and you have this as a 13k booster on one turn, and then on the other turn, whenever you don't have the order in order zone anymore, you retire this card to put the order in there, because basically the idea is you retire this, put the order in there, the order retires itself back into Soul to call 2 arms. So basically by retiring this card, eventually you're going to get to 2 arms on the board.
Is there a way for you to build Soul at grade 1?
Yes. Grade 1?
Yes.
I don't remember, and I want to say the answer is no. We start building Soul at grade 2 if we see the correct cards. Oh, there is a way, yeah. So the Machine Factory has 2 abilities. The first ability that you're using super early is Rest, look at top 7. If you see an Armed Arms and you don't have that Armed Arms in drop, you put it into drop. But if you do have an Armed Arms with the same card name in drop, you can put it into hand. But if you put it into hand, you put the order into Soul. So technically, there's your Soul charge.
Because the reason I say that is I'm looking at it because its places on Soul, but it doesn't require any specific Vanguard, right? So you can play this in the early game to get the power and get cards back into your hand. So basically, if you discard for the ride cost, then Arms, you can get it back.
So
and then you can play early game, and then later after it's it loses its 5k because it only did a turn. The next turn you can use this cost to retire it because it's already lost its power. It's just a vanilla at that point. You can retire it for the other skill.
So basically, the idea you're proposing is honestly not a bad one. It's just very awkward and weird because one thing needs to go right. So basically what needs to happen is you need to open with an Armed Arms that you have a plentiful of in your deck. Discard that Arms to ride into Vanguard. The Vanguard then searches the order. You play the order. You rest the order. You hope that the top 7 has another copy of the Armed Arms you discarded. You add that Armed Arms to hand, basically making it to where you never discarded a card because you discarded, you added, so you're back to your starting hand +1, and then the order goes into Soul. Then you call this Soul Blast 2, add another card into your hand, so replacing this. So now you have either a 13k attack or a 13k booster. So I'll go in second, you can kind of push. And then the next turn, if this is still alive because it's some back row or they didn't swing into it, you retire it and put the factory that you Soul Blasted back into your order zone ready for the next shenanigans.
Yeah.
So technically that's a very interesting and efficient combo. It only works going second very well. It can technically work going first, but you all just do everything a turn later.
Yeah. But it gives you a good of aggression in the early game, which I found is really good because that deck doesn't really have much of a threat if you just have PGs. So it gives you, oh, well, I'm a high damage. Now I have to guard this kind of thing.
Yeah. We'll see. I'm starting to warm up to this card a little bit, but playtesting will tell, because like you mentioned a little while ago, deck space is kind of an issue.
Yeah. We'll talk about that when I get to the Arc support.
So set 6 is introducing something new. We're finally getting new effect triggers, and they're front triggers. Alex, what's so special about these new front triggers?
They all have the same effect. They don't gain power, unlike the other one, but they have a skill of when they're retired from Guardian Circle, they go into Soul.
Well, you're kind of double correct on the whole don't gain power.
No. Yeah, they also don't have any power. But
there's 0k. There's 0, not even k. There's 0 base.
But I meant to say they don't gain the shield like the other fronts did. But yes, they are 0 power as well.
I'm half and half, because any deck that would run fronts usually opts for the 20k shields because they're that useful. I can't immediately think of decks that have such a soul problem that they need to run these fronts in order to always have a good enough soul. Chaos. I can see this in Chaos. Outside of that,
Griffith Gear would like a word with you.
I'd still rather the 20k fronts because shield.
Yeah, but you never. Once you got to grade 3, you have more than enough soul. If anything, I have too much soul in the deck.
But you have to have 2 rear guards, and trust me, a lot of times that's not going to happen.
If I'm putting something into Bind Zone, I would rather be putting the perfect guards to guard with, not a front trigger.
Man, why couldn't the Dark States one be a Direful Doll? I could be doing some shenanigans.
I will say, God, why can I just swap the arts for the fronts for Stoicheia? God, this art looks amazing for Stoicheia.
I know, right? Finally, an Aqua Force type unit.
It looks so cool.
I don't know. If we get decks that are super soul reliant for certain costs and just get more efficient playing these.
I know one where you can run Stoicheia. You want to run it in or Flagberg. Flagberg can cannibalize your soul quite a bit. Zorg, maybe. That one might be a stretch.
I have one deck, but it's not going to happen this set. It's going to happen whenever we get Lyrical set 2. Because more than likely, any cards that we're seeing in set 6 that are like these type of cards, we're going to get them more likely in Lyrical set 2. I can see this front being ran simultaneously with the other front in Medial.
Yeah.
Because Medial cannibalizes soul quite a bit, and Medial is one of, if not the only deck in Standard that can run no crit triggers in its deck and be fine.
Oh, yeah, never mind. Sure, he's gonna love this. Sure, he's gonna love the hell out of this card.
I can see this. Oh, by the way, did you realize an interaction with Shiranui's cards that I didn't realize until literally BCS Austria?
What's up?
So a lot of people are starting to prep their decks. They're still running the 4 for Rye because they can until they make it they restrict it in English as well, which is more likely going to happen before Worlds. So they're starting to prep their decks and getting used to the idea of not having for Rye. So you're seeing a lot of Shiranui decks run the other restander. That's GB2, draw card, restand, 10k, and all that, right? I realized something. That card's not a once per turn, right? Do you remember the condition for that card to activate?
So whenever your Vanguard attacks.
Correct. So what happens when you have enough soul, you're a GB2, you ride Obero, and you dominate their Vanguard?
Yeah, no, it counts as your Vanguard.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Problem
was, like you said, though, the soul is the issue. But hey, who knows? These front triggers might solve that issue for you now.
True. But I like that interaction. It's like, oh, I'm going to dominate your Vanguard. I'm going to Soul Blast one, draw a card, and 10k buff this thing. So then I can do it again. So it gains 20k and draws me 2 cards because I had like 4 cards in Soul.
Yeah. But yeah, these are new front triggers. Maybe cards down the road will make some of them more useful than others.
So Alex, you know what this means, right? Now we're waiting for the next effect draws and crits.
Yes. Let's see what they do. Correct.
Anyway, moving on. Where are the last card? Was it you and me? It was me. Yeah, that's right. Your turn.
Cool. We got support card for Craycross Epics in the form of an order card for each of them. Starting off with a former encouragement. It is a Keter one for Thegria. It's grade 2 normal order. Play this card with cost counterblast 1 if you have a Vanguard with Thegria in its card name. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck. Choose up to 1 unit card with a grade less than or equal to your Vanguard from among them. Call to rear guard and shuffle your deck. And then act in your drop zone. Cost Energy Blast 3. Remove this card. Choose a normal unit with Thegria in its card name from your bind zone and put it into your hand.
How bad?
From what I heard from the consensus is the Thegria players were not happy with this card.
I mean, it's nothing special. Compared to the other cards we're going to read, it's probably in the bottom barrel with my Chaos card, and I'll get to that when we get to that. I like it a little bit because it's like, look at top 7, choose a card with Glade SC to go call it. So it's basically like whatever on top 7 for a CB, so it can basically be used for Caterpile.
It's basically Mythiarch Habitat with the Counterblast.
Exactly. But you can call into the grade 2 and then unplace its Soul Blast and look at top 5 and call in another card and can be dog. So this is basically a different version of Caterpile for Thegria. And then the second effect is a drop zone effect to just make sure that if you didn't see another Eptojustace Thegria, you can just grab the one and bind and just do it.
The funny part about the bind skill though is if you're playing Soji Doji, at least you can grab a piece back if it gets stuck in the bind somehow.
If I remember correctly,
never mind.
Eptojustace Thegria does the whole rewrite shtick main phase. That way when you start attacking, you do things, right?
Yeah. You use the one that activates Persona Ride and you ride over something and binds itself, I think.
So basically what happens is you use the third version of Thegria, you do all those things, it goes to bind, then you use the order and grab it from bind so you have it for next turn.
Yeah. But the thing about Soji Doji never scratch that because they're just probably going to go back to hand.
Look, man, it's just a consistency buff.
Yeah.
Something that's not a consistency buff, though. I'm a little bit disappointed in this card.
Really? I thought it was pretty good.
It's
okay.
I'll explain.
Okay, tell me why. Tell me, Great Swami, why is this card?
I'll explain. We got Chaos's Blitz Order Grade 2, Temptation of the Beginning. Let's start off with the fact that it's a Blitz Order, all right? Play this if you have a Vanguard Chaos in its card name, and if your soul has 13 or more cards with different card names. There's my problem. This card can be played from soul. Choose one of your units being attacked, and it gets 15k until the end of that battle. And then its continuous ability is when this card would be revealed from deck by the ability of your Vanguard Chaos in its card name, or put in soul by the ability of your Vanguard Chaos in its card name, this card is regarded as a normal unit. And this card revealed.
So that means the ride line can't whiff with this card because it won't go to the bottom, it'll go to soul.
Correct.
The order card, it looks at the top cards equal to the number of chaoses. It counts as a normal unit, so you could choose it, correct?
No, that one doesn't do anything.
Oh.
This is mostly for the ride line, and this is also for maybe Chaos Grade 3's ability.
Does the ability for Chaos to look at the cards with different names, it counts normal units, not trigger units?
No,
correct?
it counts just different name cards. It counts
just
orders.
different name. Okay.
So the first ability, I'm assuming, is legit just because of the ride line. Because if you soul charge this for the grade 1, it goes into soul. And for the grade 2 ride line, because it's counted as a normal unit, means you can pull a normal unit from your soul out of your deck, soul. Because before, if you soul charge a blitz, you didn't get to draw or pull a card out. So at least your ride line now, if you soul charge this, is not completely dead. And a 15k shield and soul if you have 13 or more is not bad. Don't get me wrong. But the only thing this is is a 15k shield. Like if it's literally just one more extra card in hand. That's it. It does nothing to up the consistency other than ride line consistency. Once it's in soul, it's just waiting for half the 13. So if you don't get to your 13, it's that card in soul. We could have had better. That's my point. When we look at the other stuff, when we get the Evas, we could have had better.
That's
Okay,
fair.
no, you know what? No, I know what's going to convince you. There.
Okay, this one's actually really good.
This is how I feel about chaos.
Memories of light snowfall. It is a grade 1 normal order that is also a fox art. Keep in mind. Play this if you have a Vanguard with Tommy or in its card name. Put this card into your soul. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck. Use it to win card with Rearme to Rarame or Stealth in its card name. Without Sentinel from among them, reveal it, put into your hand, shuffle your deck. And then act drop if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater. Cost Energy Blast 3 and bind this card. Choose a fox art card with a different name from this card from your drop and put it into your hand.
So, Mr. Tamayura, how are we liking this new card?
It's okay. So you get to play it in early game because it's grade 1, because your Vanguard is always going to be Tamayura, no matter what point in the game. You get to look at the top 7 for either one of the four dolls, or you get to get the promo that lets you jump ride because it counts as it's a stealth in its name. So you can play it to also dig for Rarame or Rarame, so dig even more. And then later in the game, whenever you're using their skills to Soul Blast, you can Soul Blast this card, so you put it into drop. And then later you don't have to be so reliant on jump riding to get your order fox art back. So if you already have the one that you're more likely going to play, which is Soul Blast 2 to call to, and you can't jump ride for some reason, you can at least bind this from your drop to add the order to your hand to at least set your board up. So you don't have to be like dead in the water.
So you're not playing any more Broken Toys?
You could. I mean, honestly.
Oh, look at top 7 for 2.
And if you hit, right, you get to draw 1, it replaces itself. Honestly, you probably just play like 1 or 2 of this, 1 or 2 Broken Toys, and then 1 of the other order.
Oh, you're going to have fun building this.
I'm not. John is.
No, true. Help him, please.
I'll help him. I'll help him cook.
Anyway, time to be super fucking jealous because, you know, Thagria, Chaos, and Tamayura are like, oh, we got something cool. And then Eve over here, the fucking golden child that can never do anything wrong, gets a new grade 2 research set order called Past of Captivity. Fuck you, Eva. I love the deck, but damn, fuck you. Play this if you have a Vanguard. If your Vanguard is glitter with Eva in its card name, which means it can't be played in Archetype, it can only be played in Eva. Auto order zone once per turn. When your glitter is placed on Vanguard or Rearguard, you may have that unit gain 5k until the end of turn. I'll get back to that. And then act order zone, Soul Blast 1, rest of this card, choose a glitter from your drop and put it on the bottom of it. Why? Holy shit. Why?
Well, you don't have to run the monster anymore to recycle your Persona rides.
You don't have to run the monster to recycle your Persona rides. It's Soul Blast, which means you Soul Blast the monster that lets you jump ride.
Or you Soul Blast the Paradise Ava to put it back for the cost and then put it right back into your deck so your monster has a target in your deck to ride into.
I mean, the Paradise Eva is... Oh, yeah, true. It does go back in the soul. Yeah,
you don't have to run as many copies of Persona right now, so you have more space to play cards like this.
That too. And then the fact that if you have multiple of these in the order zone, right?
Mm-hmm. They stack.
Yeah, it's 5k just start falling on the board. Hell, this makes grade 2 obscurate a 20k, potentially 25 if you decide to rest of this If you decide not to rest this and rest it for the other grade 3 research, this can even make Eva on Ride turn 3 be an 18k base.
Yeah.
Which you would actually no, fuck that. On
23.
On Jump Ride +5.
Yeah.
This can make
And
double
Persona
critical
Ride.
+5.
So it's gonna be 28k.
See, when you look at Thegria, Chaos, Tamayura, and then you look at Eva's fucking new order, how the fuck is this fair?
I will say for Thegria, Tamayura, and Roa when we get to him, the fun parts about those, you could do that with this one, but they're not gonna. But these can be used faster because they're grade 1s. And you can use the double rare cycles that discard a card to drop an order from your deck and play them. You can use them that way in the early game as well. You can do that with Eva as well, but it doesn't feel as good as certain ones. Like when we talk about Roa, it's going to feel really good when you do it that way.
Basically, what's going to happen with Eva players, they're going to use the grade 1 research to find the monsters. If they find the monsters and they're all set, they're going to find this next, play it. So then their turn 3 is going to start getting 5k buff because they're going to play the grade 3 research that's going to call a thing, and then it's going to gain 5k because of this. And then they're going to be set for the whole game.
Yeah. So enough with Philip ranting about Eva. Let's talk about Roa. Roa got one as well. It is a grade 2, Flourishing Hope. Oh, sorry. His is a grade 2. You can't do it at grade 1. Still. Play this if you have a Vanguard with Roa in its card name. Put this card into your soul. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck. Choose the one glitter from among them. Reveal it. Put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. So this grabs anything, which we're going to talk about later. We have more glitter targets, but more than likely you're grabbing Ratalinas with these, which is important because, you know, if you whiff in the early game, you don't see your Ratalinas. You now have a card that goes into soul, so you can pay the cost for Ratalina whenever she uses her skill, and also, you know, grab Ratalinas.
Overall, really good.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you.
So speaking of Roa, we got a new Roa with Crossing Interdimensional Thoughts Roa. It is a new triple rare grade 3 continuous Vanguard. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, all of your token units get auto rear guard when your Vanguard is attacked. Cost retire this unit. All of your Vanguards gain power +5 until the end of that battle, and they gain power +5.
Bullshit.
And then auto Vanguard once per turn, cost Energy Blast 3, draw a card, and call 2 plant tokens to rear guard. Then last ability is Act Vanguard once per turn, cost choose a glitter from rear guard or soul and put it to the bottom of the deck and perform one of the following according to the card's chosen name, or the chosen card's name. If it's a card with Roa in its card name, you get to choose a opponent's rear guard and put it to the bottom of the deck. And if it's a Ratalina that you chose in its card name, you get to search your deck for up to 1 unit card with a grade one less than that card and call it to rear guard. And if you search your deck, shuffle your deck. And then this is also a glitter that searches for the seeks to fire Sphelius.
You know why?
This is a keyword milkshake and a half.
You know why it's time leaping backwards? Because it's accounting for potentially you doing a full combo and then the grade 3 Ratalina staying on board. So now you can just put that grade 3 Ratalina on the bottom of your deck and call the grade 2 Ratalina to the board instead of her.
Exactly. And then you can use cards like the order we just talked about to afterwards search that grade 3 Ratalina out of your deck. Or you can use the set order to sack one of the tokens that you're going to make off of this to search that Ratalina.
Probably the Momoke token to the grade 3 Ratalina that stayed on board made.
Yes. Or the new Momoke token, which we'll talk about after this, because you kind of want to, it has an on-play skill, so you can reuse its on-play skill.
Alex, you misspoke. Not new Momoke token, new Momoke unit.
No, I spoke right. But yes, and that's the other thing is the Momoke tokens and your plant tokens, just from him being on the board and your opponent's at grade 3, are going to gain 5k, which means that their 10k tokens, it just means Momoke doesn't have to eat as much to get to where it needs to be.
The bottom effect is like, okay, cool. Choose your ride line that you potentially might have soul blasted. It doesn't go back to deck, and you bottom deck and have removal. So that's cool.
Yes.
Wait.
But
No.
you have even more removal.
Yeah, no, wait. No. Yeah, no. This is
What?
not a token. This is a unit.
No.
God
let me
damn,
read
did
the,
they
let me read
make
the
it?
card.
Oh, they made
so,
it. Fuck.
Wings Breaking the Shell Momoke is a Dragon Empire Stoicheia card. Continuous. This card cannot be called to rearguard other than this card's ability. And if this card is on rearguard, it is also regarded as a token unit with the name card name Momoke. So yes, it is a token unit technically. Fuck. Act, hand, or drop. If your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, cost retire a grade 0 Momoke token and call this card to rearguard. And then auto, when this unit is placed on rearguard during your turn, cost retire another rearguard, choose an opponent's rearguard and retire it. And this is also a quitter for Roa, and its skill is continuous rearguard. If you have a unit with Rattling in its card name in the same column as this unit and you do not have another Momoke, this unit can attack from the back row. And if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, it gains power plus 10.
Bullshit.
So if this existing on the board and your opponent's at grade 3 means this is a 25k attacker without doing anything.
Bullshit.
That's not including any other buffs you're going to give it, which will probably end up happening.
Like the set order, they might give it a 5k buck, maybe a 30k.
Or
like
if you
any other
run
effects that you might have played to make it bigger.
If you run the Dual Nation for Dragon Stoey, if it's placed by an effect, so it can gain an extra 5k from that skill as well. It's just the ways this thing's going to stack up power. And then it also
Bullshit.
And it's funny that now it has a removal, so Roa can retire, get rid of an opponent's unit. This card can get rid of an opponent's unit. So now you have spot removal, which is nice.
The
Never had
only
that before.
saving grace about this card is the fact that you can't do this bullshit while they're at grade 2.
Yes, you have to be at grade 3. And the funniest part about this card is, so it brings itself back from drop as well. So after you use the grade 3 Ratalina to eat a Momoke and a Ratalina, all you have to do is get a Ratalina back on the board, and this can call itself back after just by stacking the Momoke token.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
I
very
like the versatility.
Yes.
Apparently.
Yes, it is nice. Don't run instead of 4 of. Just run it like a 2 or 3.
You need to see one. Look, as long as you see one, you're set for the whole game.
And also, fun fact for people that don't know, don't run this again. If you're playing this against jail, don't ever let it hit the jail. You'll never get it back.
Yeah, literally, you can't.
You literally cannot bring it back out of jail.
Fun.
Yes.
Anyway, that's not the only thing that we're seeing. Unfortunately, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that this will be the only upgraded Vanguard for the glitter ride lines.
Other than Roa.
Yeah. So we're probably going to see Eva, Chaos, Tamayura, and Thegria more than likely set 9 whenever that happens. Hopefully, maybe.
Actually, no, because the Cray Cross Epic manga ended. This is it.
This is it.
This is it. This is everything we're getting for glitter from now on.
The fuck is set 9 going to be?
Encounters. Stride deck support.
That explains the new cards then.
Yeah, they're really pushing stride deck support.
Not even stride deck, like encounter decks.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Or the Youthquake manga.
Anyway, to finish it off, we finally got the thing that got announced at the beginning of Overdress, the Fire Regulus.
Yeah, the thing they've been searching for the entire story.
It fucking finally got here, and honestly, it's not a bad card. Almost every single deck can potentially run it. We got Fire Regulus. It's a grade 3 Regulus piece that has 2 abilities. No order abilities. Continuous, this card cannot be played. And then act, hand, / drop. Remove this card. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Choose up to 1 card from among them. Reveal it. If you did not reveal a card, shuffle a deck and draw a card. If you reveal the card, perform one of the following and shuffle the deck. If the revealed card is glitter, put it into your hand. If the revealed card has grade less than or equal to your Vanguard, call it to rearguard. I like it.
I like to think of this flavor-wise of, like, normally it sounds like it's bad that you can't play it, but flavor-wise of like, oh, this order is so strong that you can't play it. You can only benefit from the side effects of the card. It can never be played because of how strong it is or something. That's what I feel like.
I really like it for glitter decks, obviously, but for for glitter decks, you don't have to. It says perform one of the following, right? So even if you reveal a glitter, you don't have to add it to the hand. You can still call it to board. The first thing that comes to mind right away is Obfuscate. Oh look, this is in my drop. Look at top 5. Oh look, grade 3 Obfuscate called. Oh look, it gains a crit. Why not? Oh look, I can still play my grade 3 research. Look at top 5. Oh look, another grade 3 Obfuscate.
No, what you do is you play how I played it, and you use the double rare order grade 2s I was talking about before, or grade 1s, where you discard a card to search your deck for the order. So all this carry across slips. No. You
the grade 1s can't search a Regulus piece.
Let me finish. You discard this for the cost to get the orders that are specific for the deck, like Thagrias or whatever, play them.
Okay.
And then you activate this in drop, and you get basically you start plussing off of the combo.
Yeah, I really do like it exactly for that fact. If you see this, it's ditch fodder. It's literally ditch fodder for anything. Ride up, perfect arts, anything, and then it's a plus engine in your drop. I like
it's also a good ditch target for your cost, because doesn't the grade 3 Dark Thagria discard a card for the restand?
I think so. It's good for any ditch target.
Yeah.
Overall, it's a very simple effect that honestly is super versatile. And if you don't find anything good off the top 5, at least you get to still draw a card. I don't know how many decks are actually going to play it, but I can see it being used.
Oh my god, they Philip proof this card.
Yeah, exactly.
They're gonna look at the top 5. Oh, it's all triggers. I guess I still get the draw.
Draw a trigger. Ha ha ha. I'll take what I can get. Moving on. We gotta talk about more cards that are not the correct nations.
Yes, we got Dancing Cutlass. Still aka Cycler for the encounter only stuff. If you don't have a G-Zone, it's only one clan, you get the benefits of this. Auto, when this card is discarded from your hand during your ride phase or main phase, cost Energy Blast 3 and draw a card. And then acting your drop zone, remove 2 cards of the same name as this card from your drop and countercharge 1. So,
I'm going to stop you before you say anything. For the next card we're going to talk about, this is an amazing effect that'll benefit that card extremely.
Yes.
I find it very fucking ironic that Dancing Cutlass cannot be used in Nitros and instead has become an Aqua Force staple. Because discard a card, draw a card, and countercharge are really good effects. Especially when you go into Blue Storm Supreme Dragon Glory Maelstrom.
We finally got him. And it didn't disappoint. It's so good.
It didn't. So the reason Cutlass is really good is because Maelstrom's first effect, that we're also going to expound on it a lot because it is a little bit complicated, is continuous Vanguard. During your turn, if your rearguard or soul has a Blue Storm Dragon Maelstrom, this unit gets all of their act abilities, and all of your front row units get power 5k for each Blue Storm Armada in your order zone. So more likely turn 3 5k, turn 2 10k if you keep playing them, yada yada yada. Auto Vanguard, when your Blue Storm Dragon Maelstrom, the original, attacks a Vanguard until the end of turn, that unit gets power 5k. If it's the 4th battle of this turn or more, draw a card, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, and retire it. And then Auto Vanguard, when your unit with Maelstrom in its card name attacks, rest 2 Blue Storm Armadas in your order zone, and your opponent cannot Sentinel from hand to Guardian Circle until the end of that battle. Let's unpack here.
So the
First off, you want to say it?
Oh yeah. So the fact that the orders stack 5Ks is good because, like you said before, your grade 3 turn you're gonna have 5K. On your grade 4 turn, if you persona ride and you play another order, it means you're probably gonna have 20K to your front row.
Which in a deck that pokes, that's actually really good.
Especially when you're swapping all of your rear guards into your front row, which means everything is going to be sipping off the benefit of that.
Apologies, Flagberg. You can cry in a corner.
Yeah, exactly. And then the fact that it gets all of their act abilities in your soul and rear guard, and it stacks, by the way, means that if for every Maelstrom, you're going to have multiple instances of the discard a card to call a card from the soul.
Exactly. The effect of the original Maelstrom is discard a card from hand, choose a tier dragon from your soul,
Aquaforce.
Call it to rear guard, or Aquaforce, call it to rear guard, and that thing gains the ability that at the end of the battle that it attacked, if it's the first battle, Counterblast 1, restand it. And like you said, for every Maelstrom, which means in the basic scenarios, let's say you have 1 in soul, 1 on board, the Vanguard has 2 instances of that ability, which means you can, for each effect, discard a card and call a card from soul. And they have technically the first battle, which will only trigger for 1 of them, but they can still do that.
On the surface, that's that way.
Exactly. However, because of the way this is worded and because it's a continuous ability, what happens is if you have Maelstrom in soul, which more likely you might because of either soul charging it, or maybe you went the original Maelstrom first and saved this for turn 4.
Or you're going to the card we're going to talk about after this.
Exactly. You have the Maelstrom and only that Maelstrom in soul. So this has the act ability. You use the act ability, discard a call that tier dragon or Aquaforce Maelstrom to the rear guard. Now that it's been called to the rear guard from soul, it is regarded as a new unit. Therefore, a new Maelstrom. Therefore, the continuous ability sees a new act ability that it has, so you have another instance of the act ability again to use from 1 card.
Exactly.
Word of advice, whenever this comes out, if people remember by the time this comes out in English, whenever you do have multiple copies and multiple stacks of the same ability on the Vanguard, just very clearly declare which ones you are using. Because if you say, if I'm using the act ability of the copied from the rear guard to call this from soul, it will lose the one from the soul. So you got to be very careful.
So unpacking the second effect, the Vanguard, whenever your Maelstrom attacks, the power effect does stack because it is not once per turn, and it's until the end of turn. So if you swing with it once, it'll gain 5K. If it restands, it'll swing again and get another 5K. And if you have multiple Maelstroms on the board and they're all swinging past
no, it doesn't
battle,
stack. 5K. Oh no, never mind.
Turn.
I saw the end of battle on the wrong side of the 5K. I apologize. It does stack.
Yes. But if you have multiple Maelstroms swinging after the 4th battle or the 3rd battle, every one of them will proc and retire something to draw.
Which, if you play it correctly, you technically could. You just swing with the first Maelstrom, give it 5K, counterblast, restand to get your first battle, have something else to that do multiple battles, probably 3rd battle Vanguard, and then do some moves, and then you probably have like 2, if not more, Maelstroms left, so you can draw 2. There's a lot of potential here. Not to mention the Maelstroms you call from Soul will go back into Soul.
There is a fun thing that people have been talking about doing. Before it was bad, but now there's probably a merit to it. You can run Tidal Assault on your Soul.
Don't fucking do it.
And you can pull it, Maelstrom out, and you can use Maelstrom to call Tidal Assault, and then technically get like 5, maybe 6 battles in with it. And because you're going to get the buff from the orders, so everything's going to gain power from it, and your persona right as well. It's an option. I will say,
it's an option.
I'd rather have the consistency of having Algos. But also the fun fact is that, what was I going to say? Brain.
Oh no, it's your brain.
I know. I had it and it just disappeared.
Something about multi-attacking with that. I don't know, Maelstroms.
Oh, you can. This is no longer restricted to a battle phase for him. It's only the Maelstroms on the rear guard that are locked to a battle. So if you have a Tidal Assault on rear guard, you can swing with this first, throw all of your drive checks onto that Tidal Assault, and then swing with it for its second battle and restand with the drive checks on it.
Oh yeah, true.
Because before it used to be you're locked to your Vanguard swinging toward the end because you had to get it had to be the fourth battle. But since this no longer requires that battle, you can swing with it first.
The only downside about that is you lose your first battle restand of your multiple cards that do that.
If you're going first though, and your opponent's not grade 3, because you can't use the call from soul to restand a first battle on if your opponent's not grade 3. If you're swinging into a grade 2, it can matter because Tidal Assault, if I remember right, is not locked to its restand. Your opponent being grade 3.
It shouldn't be.
So you can swing if your opponent's a grade 2. You can just swing with Vanguard first, throw it all onto a Tidal Assault, and then restand with the triggers on it.
This could be very dangerous. And to kind of bring it back a little bit with the Cutlass. The act ability is discard a card. Oh, look, my main phase. Let me Energy Blast 3, draw a card, because I'm not using energy for anything else. Not to mention, there's a grade 1 that energy charges me to because I called it. That is getting used too, remember?
Yes. So
and then look, I used up too much of my CB because I have all these CB effects to restand. Oh, remove countercharge.
Exactly.
Damn, Cutlass is going to be so good in this deck.
Dude, this deck in general is just gonna be really good because
and it doesn't stop there.
There's so much better cards because you got a double rare Tier Knight Illicarnes, something. It's a grade 2 double rare continuous. If you have a Vanguard with only Aqua Force for his clan, this card is only from Aqua Force, so it becomes an Aqua Force unit, which is very important. Auto, when this unit is placed on rear guard, if you have a Vanguard with Aqua Force in its clan, look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 Maelstrom in its card name or up to 1 Blue Storm Armada from among them, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. If you revealed a card, choose a card from your hand and put it into your soul or discard it. And then auto rear guard at the end of the battle, this unit attacked. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Maelstrom in its card name, cost Counterblast 1, choose one of your rear guards and swap positions with this unit.
So, oh look, a way to put Maelstroms in the soul. The only thing I do want to ask about this is
the fact that
how many original Maelstroms do you start running in the deck?
I was running 4. You could probably run 3.
So yeah, see, I think 3 is probably going to be the more favorable outcome because if you decide to run 4 Maelstroms, and let's say because of optimal finding, playing, and just seeing enough of them, we're running 4 Blue Storm Armada, right? That's the max scale. You probably won't, but let's say the top end of the spectrum. Blue Storm Armada, OG Maelstrom, Persona Ride. That's 11 grade 3s. That's 11 Dead Shield cards.
But back to this card though. The fun fact about this card is the fact that it's only Aqua Force. If you have an Aqua Force Vanguard, it's only from Aqua Force. Means that your Blue Storm Armadas can call this back from drop. So if it gets retired, you can bring them back. Your August Ride line can now look at the top 7 to call this, and then when it's placed off of August, you can look at the top 7, dig more. Because the cost there is no cost. It's just when it's placed. So again, when you play the Armada and call this, you also get a proc to look at the top 7 again as well. And then anything that requires you choosing an Aqua Force unit just immediately makes this card so much better.
Pretty much.
And then it's swapping, not being restricted to like how it attacks or anything, and just at the end of the battle it attacked. Means that you can have this in the front row and swing with it first to move like something like a Tidal Assault up, and then its second battle will swing after it, and then swing with Tidal Assault twice in the same column.
Tidal Assault, more grade 3s, ballsy, my man.
Tidal Assault's a grade 2.
Sorry, Tidal Assault. For some reason, my brain was like, oh, he said Tidal Assault. That's what's the grade 3 that puts the soul to soul and draws a card?
Oh, Inlet Pulse. No.
Inlet Pulse. For some reason, I heard Inlet Pulse. My brain's not braining.
No. If anything, you're not running Inlet Pulse at all anymore.
No, fuck that. Inlet Pulse comes out completely because now your Maelstroms are your Inlet Pulses.
Yes, and then now you have room for the triple rare that was intended for Flagberg, but is probably going to get abused in here. Because it's Soul Blast, give a red text of whenever it attacks gets 5k. If you have a tier Dragon Vanguard.
Call out Maelstrom on attack, 5k from the Vanguard, and 5k from the grade 1, what you just said. Restand, save it for later. On attack, 5k from Maelstrom, 5k from that. Not to mention the 5k from the that's getting for the front row. Not to mention maybe you put the Blue Storm Armada 5k on turn 4 on that as well. Yeah, this is getting out of hand slowly.
Yeah, the deck's just really strong.
Man, if only we had a strong deck to put against it.
I know, right?
Anyway, speaking about other decks, this is set 6. We did get spoiled the fact that not only Chronos Command, but also Spaghetti Messiah are coming back, transless. So let's look at the first wave of support, or technically the Duff support, for Jet. Starting us out with Glimmer Breath Dragon and the implications this thing brings. It's a grade 2 double rare that says auto when this unit is placed on rear grid. If you have a Chronojet Vanguard Crest, Counterblast 1, draw a card. If your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, this unit gets 5k. So it's a Counterblast 1 draw, 15k potentially on grade 3. However, its second ability is auto rearguard Generation Break 3. When this unit attacks, this unit gets 10k until the end of that battle, making it potentially a 25k attacker on GB3, but also on GB3 means that it's a 35k attacker on its own.
Yeah.
So, Alex, you want to hear a funny...
The fact that this is, you can just play this at grade 2, counterblast and draw, and then tug it back into your deck later.
The fact that if you really want to use 2 CB, you can do this with 1. You can have this be a 20 to 25k attacker on grade 3 turn without striding.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know how?
Shinra? Or Shinra Clan, I mean?
No, without boosting. On its own, a 20 to 25 attacker.
Alright, let's hear this.
Do you not remember the Jet got a normal order promo?
Oh, yeah, the GB skills are not active. Oh, that's kind of dumb.
So put a grade 1 to the bottom of the deck. Find this. If you want to spare a second counterblast, draw a card. And its GB skills are ignored, which means on attack it will gain 10k power.
Yeah, that's kind of dumb.
You want a dumb? You want dumb? Oh,
Yeah,
it's time to show dumb.
I love how people were talking about how this card is kind of lackluster, and I'm like, dude, what are you smoking? This card is good.
We have Interdimensional Dragon, Chronos Command Dragon. Dragon's back.
Dragon.
Okay, so its stride cost is not like next stage. You can discard anything that's a grade 3 to stride it, which means your ditch draws work. If you have to discard a grade 2 and a grade 1, it works, yada yada yada. Act Vanguard, once per turn, Generation Break 3, which means this is your second stride. Counterblast 1, your opponent puts all of their rear guards on the bottom of the deck in any order. Yes, it passes resist. It doesn't pass ladder, but it does pass resist. You choose one of your rear guards and it gets auto at the end of the battle. This unit attacked. Put this unit on the bottom of the deck. Search your deck for up to 1 unit card with grade +1 from this card. Call it to rear guard and it gets 5k until the end of turn for each face up interdimensional Chronos Command Dragon in your G-Zone shuffle deck. More than likely it's going to be face up 1 on second stride because you're probably going to flip it using the previous first stride.
Yeah, you need Fate Rider skill. You're going to flip one of these.
Correct. On paper, it doesn't sound that stupid. Board wipe and time leap. So you get 4 attacks with 1 CB as well as board wipe. Granted, if you discard the normal order I mentioned a little while ago, this is actually a free cost.
Exactly.
Because you're not using Jets. Yeah, you're not using Jets bottom deck, because why would you? And then the order makes this free, which means, hey, look, free board wipe for no CB.
God, that order's going to be expensive now.
No. See, the beauty about this thing is when you combine Chronos Command's ability with Upstream Dragon.
Yeah.
Because Upstream gets the red text. When it at the end of battle happens, both the red text of the Chronos Command as well as Upstream effects trigger at the same time and go on standby into the resolution zone, yada yada yada.
Fun fact,
You
Chronos Command is
resolve-
not a cost.
The what?
Chronos Command is not a cost, which is the key part here.
Exactly. You resolve upstreams, which is a cost, putting upstream on the bottom. You find a grade 1 to call behind the upstream column that it was. More than likely, you can call a Swirler for Soul Charge Power. You can call a GG to Soul Blast 2 draw. Or my favorite, whenever we do get it, you can call a Phyllis, the Shenri clone, because you've currently emptied the opponent's board, which means they have one or less rear guards, which means Shenri is a 13k booster that will go into Soul and draw a card. But the best part about this is the fact that Chronos Command's red text still happens. You do as much of it as possible. And because, like Alex said, because the bottom deck is not a cost, you just skip that part. And you go into end of battle, and you skip the fact that it put it on the bottom because it's already on the bottom. You just skip that, go to the next part, search your deck for up to one card with grade +1 from this card. That is something I do need to check. Call it to rearguard, so you get to call a grade 3 and make a column. I just read this, and I do need to check something.
Technically, you can get 5 attacks because couldn't. Well, no, upstream
is only back row.
That's right. Never mind.
Otherwise, Fate Rider, we're only doing 5 attacks.
That's true. Never mind.
Okay, I need yeah, it works. So yeah. With 2 effects, upstream and this, you get to make a column. Now, don't forget, whatever you're calling is a grade 3. More likely, you're calling either Bali that's working because you did bot deck stuff both on your opponents on your side. So that Bali is a 23k attacker. Don't forget, this is second stride. That's 10k to the third row. That Bali is a 33. More likely, flipped up Chronos Command. That's a 38 Bali. And if we take Phyllis that I suggested, oh look, that Phil is a 13k booster. That is 51 column.
Actually,
Now,
add 15k more because of the crest.
I did.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay.
There's even a better combo. There's Nocturcio GG, sure. There's one that Echo recommended. There's a grade 3 card in Dark States that says when this unit is placed, Soul Charge 2. And if you soul charge triggers, you put the triggers back to your deck. But you combine that grade 3 with Swirler. Look at the numbers we get.
Yeah, some pretty chunky numbers.
I
feel like there was a grade 3 that was really good that we're missing.
There's a lot of grade 3s in Dark States.
Yeah.
Not many that do stuff when placed, because some of them are placed from hand, others are placed from soul, yada yada yada. Bali's probably your best bet in Jet. Nocturcio technically could work, so if you have the extra CB, because you probably didn't CB for this, if you discarded the order, you can put 2 cards into soul, draw a card off of Nocturcio, and then GG, like I said before, GG then soul blast those 2 cards and you draw another card, so there's another draw engine there.
Was the GOAT a grade 2 or grade 3?
It was a grade 2.
That's it.
Yeah. The upstream column combo is only grade 3, grade 1. Now, if you don't want to do a column and you just want to call a good grade 2, you can always call a grade 1, swing with it, have the Chronos Command effect, and then call a grade 2 down, which could be the new grade 2 to draw your card, and now it's a 25k, 35k, 40k attacker, yada, yada, yada. There's possibilities. Just upstream makes potentially the best numbers, columns, effects, yada, yada, yada.
And don't forget that you also have the jet order, so you can always just grab something from your soul to get upstream from your deck.
Exactly.
So
overall, the only thing I can say about Chronos Command is, if this is his effect, I can't wait to see Transless.
Dude, I'm just excited because later in the year, I know we're going to get another one of these, and it's going to support Shiranui and Luard. And I'm just like trying to conceive what those are going to do.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there. We'll cross that Shiranui meta again when we get there. Dude,
All
you
right,
know,
so-
the second Shiranui gets another stride that can do another fucking bullshit dominate stuff, it's gonna be
Oh,
meta
yeah.
again.
It's gonna be Mooj. It's probably getting Mugen Lord.
Anytime Shiranui got dominate support, it became meta. Change my mind.
All right. So what we got after this?
What we got after this? That's actually it. The only extra things we need to talk about is set 6, the fact that they filled up the rest of the triple rare spots with reprints of the Stride support grade 3s that are stride cost as well as do stuff if you call them while you're a grade 4. Like,
That are
among
left.
the triple rares, these are the only ones left. Next to,
Yeah.
you know, the stuff we haven't
Well,
seen yet.
So we already know every triple rare basically in the set.
Yeah, because we're still getting Gandiva, and we're still getting Transilus, and we're still getting
Vermilion, the blood. We're
But-
still missing a Brantgate triple rare. But
No,
you
no,
know,
we're not. Brentgate's only getting 3 triple rares.
3. Oh, never mind then.
We got 20 triple rares. One's the Fire Regulus, so that's 19. 4 of them
Gotcha.
are going to Keter, 4 of them going to Dark States. Sorry, not Dark States. Dragon Empire. That's 8, so that's 9. So we got only 11 left. 11 divided by 3, it doesn't quite work. So only one more nation's
Gotcha.
getting 4, while the rest of
didn't
them
know.
are getting 3. Or
Gotcha.
some- I had a picture somewhere. God damn.
So, sorry, deep police players. You gotta wait for Daikaiser for another day.
I mean, I did say set 9, but yeah. I like the grade 3 triple rares are a good reprint because they're staples, they're good cards. It's fine.
Mm.
They could have made more Eva Chaos. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
Your turn.
So next we got a double rare for Stake in Mythiarch Matured. Miniatured. Miniatured? I don't know.
Midachurd.
Anyways,
Think of it like a
is-
Pokemon.
It's a grade 2 auto. When this unit is placed on rear guard, if you have a Vanguard with Mythiarch in its card name, look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Choose up to 1 card with Mythiarch in its different card name from among them from this unit. Reveal it, put it to your hand, and shuffle your deck. If you revealed a card, choose a card from your hand and put it into your soul. And then continuous Guardian Circle. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Mythiarch in its card name, this unit gains shield plus 10,000, making it a 15k shield.
You're the Mythiarch, brother. You tell me.
It's on place, doesn't cost anything. Digs at any grade for a different name Mythiarch, which means you can grab your Persona Rides, you can grab your restanding rear guard, you can grab your guard restrict. It's honestly good. Yeah, you can grab Habitat. It's a card, it doesn't say unit, so you can actually grab orders off of this. So you can grab Mythiarch Habitat. And it's a 15k shield in your hand after grade 3, so it just gives you shield value. It's a good interceptor. It's pretty good. Man.
True. Very true.
The card from hand into soul can be useful too, because the grade 1 that you wanted to call behind the Vanguard is a Soul Blast to draw cards or call itself to drop. So it actually makes use. I like it.
I mean, it's like the Silhouette one. All right, moving on real quick. I'm going to have to do something real quick. Just 1 sec. Oop. Okay, you can't see that. Beautiful. I don't know when that changed. Anyway, news section. We're going to make it quick because we only got a couple bit of news. Dear Days 2 is introducing something, isn't that right?
Yes, we're getting the character from the Skyride manga as a skin, basically, for a character you can use. They have voice lines and all. And also, I think the Vergilla deck is coming. I can't remember if it's a DLC or if it's in the thing, but you can actually play. It is. Oh, sweet. So yeah, you can play.
Base versions.
You can play Vergilla right out the gate.
Nice. So, that's cool. Moving on. Alex, guess what happened?
We got 10th anniversary for G, and because of that,
No. They're officially opening up a Vanguard store in Japan, Tokyo.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's
Uh-huh.
cool. An
Huzzah!
actual Vanguard store.
An
Does that
actual
mean they're
Vanguard
actually-
store.
Does that mean they're going to have tournaments and play areas in there too? Or is it just like the byproduct?
I'm hoping yes.
Because if so, that'd be kind of cool if they just like, I mean, it's kind of sad if they, for like local game stores, if they do that, because, they're probably going to go to the official game store to play. But it'd be kind of cool to just be like, you want to play Vanguard? Here's an official store to go play Vanguard at.
And it has official products.
Yeah.
That's going to be cool.
Really cool. Those acrylic colors are kind of cool.
There's going to be buttons, collars, sleeves, a lot of stuff. It's going to be very, 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 very cool. Speaking of very, very, very cool, there's a little bit of extra goodies inside of set 6. Just like the grade 3 reprints we're getting, we're also getting reprints of the Stride deck sets for Chronojet and Messiah. More notably, Messiah and Chronojet themselves, their Strides, and lo and behold, Upstream and our Arrestor Messiah as well.
So if you couldn't get a hold of a Stride deck set normally, here's your way of getting it later down the road. You can just pull the cards in the set, which means it's going to be cheaper and more affordable, which is good. There's also,
and on top of that, they're getting FFR rarities. Yay!
Yeah, so if you're a big fan of frame rares, huzzah, you can get frame rares of the cards. Honestly, the next stage frame rare actually looks very nice.
I was about to say, the next stage one probably looks the best out of all of them. I don't like the bright gay frame rares for the Messiah. I like the cleanliness of Messiah being just open and majestic.
Honestly, Fate Riders kind of gets muddied into the art.
And Chronojets feels like he's getting attacked.
Yeah.
I think next stage kills it. Everything else is kind of a hit or miss.
Oh, I think what it is that the shoulder pads on next stage frame the gold piece in the center kind of around it, so it kind of like naturally fits. That's what it is.
Oh, yep. And not I think that's it actually. Yeah, that's it. Well, that's been it for that. Holy shit, long ass episode.
Exactly, almost 2 hours.
Jesus. I can't wait. Anyway, before we finish this off, we got to talk about what's up and coming.
Yes.
For the next Tuesday stream, we're going to be looking at Gandiva Mask, as well as 4 new cards, including support cards for it.
Mm-hmm. And then Thursday, you're getting the blood and support cards, as well as the generic Dragon Empire clan support card that works only for encounters.
Belly Costy Dragon. Yeah. That's gonna be fun. Anyway, with all that being said, I think we can end this episode here. Thank you so much for watching or listening to episode, what was it, 237 of E-Time, I said?
Yes.
If you liked the episode, please like, share, and comment down below what you think. Belly Costy or Blood or Messiah. We're still missing Translates. I love the fact they're leaving Translates the best for last.
Sometimes it's not the best, but yes, there's everything for last.
We can hope. But if you liked the episode, please like, share, and comment down below. Yada, yada, yada. But if you like what we do here, subscribe to the channel, ring that bell to get notified. Maybe you become a member for some awesome perks. But with all that being said, I've been Philip.
This is Alex.
And we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.